In a survey, as much as 60% of women reported that they are in a committed relationship, while only 38% of men from the same survey reported the same. Relationships can be tricky things to define, and if you're in one, you want to make sure that both of you and your partner are on the same page when it comes to where you stand. You might think that you're only sleeping with each other, but the reality could be very different and very scary.
Number 9. 87% of men use condoms correctly. 70% believe they should carry them at all times. With women, 60% know how to use condoms correctly, and 60% say that they would still have sex with their partners even if they refuse to use condoms. Most college campuses now offer classes for safe sex and how to promote themselves from preventing STDs. With that being said, there you go.
Within hours, not even the same day. There's multiple updates in that game per day. Yeah, every time you open the game, there should be.
More than half the participants in a college study believe that they can see an STD or know people who have an STD just by looking at them. But the truth is that most of the time, people who have them don't even know if they have it. So it doesn't matter how you dress, look, act, or feel. You might have an STD and may not know it. So just to be safe, you might want to get it checked.
I'm actually doing a custom.
Number 7. Over 45% of college freshmen who have been binge drinking and under the influence of alcohol fail to consider the use of contraceptive aids when engaging in sexual intercourse. 15% of these students contracted and or spread STDs among other college students, with 7% of these infected students unaware of their condition. Many times, alcohol can play a huge role in unsafe sexual practices, especially with college students. Students should avoid binge drinking if they want to be extra careful about reducing their STD risk.
Young Denzel. Number 6. One study of college students showed that 91% of women with new HPV infections, similar to herpes, became undetectable within 2 years. HPV is the #1 sexually transmitted disease on college campuses. It might be the #1 disease, but the majority of those infected with it won't have any actual signs of carrying the disease, even though it can still be transmitted to another partner. Some HPV infections resolve themselves, but other kinds can cause genital warts and cervical cancer. Students should take advantage of HPV vaccines now widely available to help protect themselves.
Number 5. 80% of people who have a sexually transmitted disease experience no noticeable symptoms. This often means that since they have no reason to believe that anything is wrong with them, they will be unlikely to visit a doctor and be checked out, allowing them to transmit the disease to other partners. Students need to keep in mind that just because you can't see the effects of an STD doesn't mean it's not there.
Number 4. Overall, the Center for Disease Control estimates that 19 million new sexually transmitted infections occur each year, almost half among 15 to 24-year-olds. I mean, during college, there's a lot of time we have experience freedom, but we just have to make sure we be very careful that we don't abuse of that decision for sexual actions. We have to be very careful because it's something very, very bad statistic that's going around.
For Friday?
Yes, I'll be at your house at 8 o'clock.
Number 3, a 2004 survey was conducted by the Center of Disease and Control by researcher Dr. Sarah Foreman, which tested 838 teen girls for 4 STDs. Of these girls, 18% had human papillomavirus, 4% had chlamydia, and 2.0% had trichomoniasis, and 2% had herpes simplex virus.
While some of these STDs are treatable, many are not and will be carried with these young girls and their sexual partners for life. Most, if not all, women in the study were unaware that they had STD.
Number 2. Only 54% of students regularly use condoms during vaginal intercourse, 29% during anal intercourse, and only 4% during oral sex. These numbers are low and perhaps the reason that STD levels are so high among students. While many schools and communities provide free condoms and sexual education courses, many students are not taking advantage or choose not to use the resources they provide and put themselves at a very high risk for potentially life-changing infections.
Go back to reading the book. In that book.
You know, 1 out of 4 college students has an STD. 1 out of 4, that's crazy. In the larger population, that's 50% of people getting an STD sometime in their life without even knowing about it. Because of this prevalence, college students should be definitely vigilant about catching an STD, protecting themselves.